Welcome to Shrouded Realities, the show hosted by 3 men with a guest. So we got 4 guys in here.
Just full of tea.
Full
tea
of
levels.
testosterone through the roof. Estrogen is low. So if you're going to get offended by toxicity,
What?
toxicity,
System of a Down over here?
System of the Down, toxicity. If you're getting all chop suey and you just don't like it, just scroll on
Let me
because
tell you, I'm feeling aggressive.
you're getting
and
aggression
competitive,
today.
A little stoic.
Yes,
It's just running in me. I had red meat for supper last night. It was so
we're
good.
freaking angry.
God.
We're just angry. We're toxic and we're masculine.
Oh,
Had a glass of milk last night. I'm raging.
Like going to kill a bear now. Bare hands.
Right.
Bare hands. Get it.
I have bare hands.
Yeah, so for all the moms that listen to Shrouded Realities, I'm sorry for you because this one's for
They're
the
gonna love it.
this
You're
one's
gonna
for
have
the
to
boys.
You're gonna have
This
to change
one's-
your pants.
This is real men right here having a conversation.
This is
We're a little low on that.
hey,
but
that's part of the conversation though.
That's
is
right.
is that what females tend to gravitate to or attract to as opposed to a
Or is it all a lie? Who knows?
who knows?
I've only had 2
knows?
girlfriends ever,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
It's because you were in your weak man phase,
I
man.
know.
That's what it was.
Women scare me. They do scare me. Some of them do.
Yeah.
Some women do scare me.
Yeah.
I want to start this conversation. What do we each think masculinity is?
Oh, good question. Let me introduce our guest first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do that. I
For
forgot.
for the new viewers. This is my son Jackson. Say hi,
Hello.
Jackson.
Yeah,
Hello, people.
we're all too masculine. I forgot he was in here.
That's true. Yeah. We brought him in because he's a young man, 18 years old, just about as young of a man as you can get.
Youth.
17 is younger, but
Yeah.
16
I
is
mean,
younger than that.
That's not a man. That's a boy.
15.
That's a boy.
800 years ago, 15 was a man.
That's
It's
right.
true.
So that leads in the conversation. What is masculine?
People died at like 30 then.
It's true. So when you
Say
were 15, you were
like
in your
halfway through
prime.
your
I think
life.
that's a myth. I don't think that's 100% accurate. Anyway, we can move past that.
That was an episode or a topic for last week that we probably
I
could have
don't
covered
think.
it.
I think that lifespan was probably longer than what we're saying, but
Yeah.
yeah. Not everybody died of colic. I mean,
yeah.
I think the average was less though because there were a lot more infant deaths and young kid mortality.
Sure.
So
yeah, the
that just
average
kinda
was
drops the
lower,
average
but
super low.
you know they weren't eating
It was like a
garbage. So
bunny population mentality where you
Just-
have a lot of kids and most of them will die.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So you have a couple that will live.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you needed to make extras for just to account for the ones
Yeah.
that are going to
Some
croak.
redundancies.
Or
That
there
was-
was no entertainment, so people just
Yeah, they didn't have TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
had some fun.
Anyway,
Connor, kick us off. What do you think masculinity? Well, masculinity or toxic masculinity? 'Cause I
I'm
feel
going
like
to start
those
with
two different things.
masculinity so we can fade into toxic masculinity.
Okay. All right.
Because I think that's a two-sided sword there.
Okay.
it is.
Masculinity, I think there's different levels to it. I think there's levels of respect. There's levels of violence that you should be able to accrue.
Okay.
There's
So you like acceptable violence.
yes, like
think that
if you
there's
can't get violent, the controlled violence. like,
Controlled
you
violence.
should be able to
controlled aggression. I would
Yeah,
say.
I think you should have the ability to become violent, but control it.
But no Wendy.
Like a good
Yes,
fist fight. Like
Yeah.
a mutual combat fist
the
fight.
ability to stand up in the front of opposition, violent opposition. I think
Just
uh,
violent.
just violent,
Yeah.
just
Oklahoma
violent.
City was like unjust violence.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
virgin
That was
violence.
a little over.
I would say that would be toxic. What he did.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it was not controlled. He had no control of whatever his emotions were.
He took his emotions out on the wrong people.
On the wrong, well, he took them out in the wrong way.
That too. But
I mean, the wrong people, yes, but definitely in the wrong way. If
Yeah.
you got a grievance to pick, you don't go just make a bomb and blow people up.
with preschools in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you should be able to take care of the people you're responsible for.
Yeah. That's a big one.
And then my own personal opinion is like you should be able to fix everything, or at least try to
Mhm.
mechanically.
Okay.
or-
I was about to say like emotional like support or like fixing lawnmowers.
emotional
Yeah.
support. That's definitely not me.
No.
Yeah.
And I don't think men in general are great with emotional support. I mean, I think that you can be decent at it, but it's not.
My emotional support is fixing the fridge. That's my
Yeah.
like you're gonna
My
get emotional if all our food is rotten.
my relationship with that is not great.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that men probably aren't just great at.
Is that where the toxic comes in?
I was going to say, I think that's the whole
I don't know.
toxic
no,
part of
it's
it,
not
or-
toxic
because
we have a family unit for a reason. Normally,
So
in a family unit, you have the fixer, you have the person who probably pushes down most of his emotions to push on for the family, to make sure they are protected, to make sure that they're cared for, to make sure that they're being disciplined in the ways that they should. And then you've also got the mother, who is going to be more of the emotional help for that young person at that point, the child, I would say.
So if the cars need
The
fixed,
family grower.
if the cars need fixed, the cows need fed, the yard needs mowed, you ain't got time to.
If your tire's going flat,
Yeah.
somebody's got to take care of that.
You ain't got a whole lot of time to worry about someone's feelings.
But I think where a lot of people get mad at that is I just gave a few different examples for the masculine side of that. I don't have a good argument for the other side because I'm not the other side. And they're going to, well, women can do that too. Women, and sure, they can. Can a woman change a tire? Absolutely, they can. Is it necessarily their role to do that in a family unit? No, it's not.
if there's a dude around, he should be stepping
He
up.
should be
and
pumping
say,
the gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be, well, you just go do it, woman.
lady.
That's toxic. To me, that's where toxic would lie, because that's not masculine.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not fair.
But for the true masculine to work, all of it has to work together.
Yeah.
It is.
It's got to be a whole unit.
Yeah.
It can't just be the man.
You take some masculine roles for me. I'll take some.
Yeah. I'll wash some dishes every now and then. My wife's going to laugh at that, by the way.
Yeah.
She said, "Yeah, right."
She's going to go, ha.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
At our house, the dishwashing falls on me and my sister.
Yeah.
So
That's why I can't wait till my son gets a little older.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's so
When
great. When we get teenagers, dude.
I started
Gravy.
mowing our yard when I was 10.
Yeah,
I
as
did
soon as
too.
they could reach the pedal, boy, get on in the
No,
lawnmower.
I said I wanted to do it, and he was like, okay.
Yeah.
Don't have to tell
Yeah,
me
here's
twice.
beer.
You went,
Take care of it.
take that.
Now I
Here's a
kinda
beer. I
get
didn't say
paid for
here's a
it.
beer.
Here's a beer, boy. They used to do that. I mean,
That's true.
Yeah, I'm my 10-year-old self's outside in my underwear drinking a Miller Lite.
that's how that is what America was made for, right
That's
there.
right. The government shouldn't tell you can.
Golly.
Yeah. So,
So I had a thought. Just to paint a picture, like I would say 1950s is where I would place the American masculine man. Not masculinity in general, but just American masculine.
Sure.
1950s, 40s, 50s.
So,
like,
just to paint a picture.
you're saying that was like the peak, like that was
Peak
the,
American masculine.
Okay.
and I would say I agree with that.
Mhm.
But the other side would say, well, that's where women were in the kitchen and they were being beat if they didn't have
The commercials were showing them getting
you know,
spanked for
just-
not.
That was
Exactly.
those were the outliers at that time.
It was
that
an
were-
outlier,
Well,
but it was
it
given
was
as
a more common outlier than
that's what they say.
Ish.
I do agree that there probably was
Mm.
domestic violence. There's domestic violence today.
There's been domestic violence since the dawn of man.
All of that, yeah, and it's not going anywhere. I don't
No.
care if
Yeah.
you try to breed it out of our
There's no
youth,
amount of
it's not
therapy
gonna-
that's gonna keep you from
No.
hitting somebody.
there will always be bad people in the world that
Yes.
will.
That's basically what this conversation boils down to.
Yeah.
It's like there's always gonna be some a-hole.
Yeah.
Always.
And the toxic masculinity movement kind of puts an overarching blame for those small outliers that you're talking about.
Mhm.
You know, the small the I mean, I wish I had numbers. I don't even know if it's a small population, but the population that is abusing their kids and abusing their wives and trying to take that little subset and say it's because of all men.
So
You know what I mean?
I attribute it to like the gun movement. You know, everybody or the Second Amendment. Let's just say in the Second Amendment we have guns as a
Hey.
population. There you go. That's what I'm
Second
talking
Amendment,
about.
Sure,
Hey.
yeah.
Living it up. But we have guns, which means there are going to be bad people with guns, right?
Mhm.
It's just going to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
In masculinity, there's going to be
Douchebags.
douchebags
Bad guys.
bad actors
Yeah.
that will take a masculine trait and turn that toxic. That's a real
Or
thing.
just turn it to the extreme in general.
Just like the gun argument, the argument is we need to get rid of guns. If we get rid of guns, there'll be no more gun deaths. They're doing the same thing with masculinity, I would say, and saying, okay, eradicate masculinity. Let's feminize all these men. Let's make them emasculated, basically.
Which just in turn makes them more violent.
Which makes them more violent, but that's not their argument. Their
Right.
argument is if we get rid of masculinity, then we're not going to have the bad side of that.
Yeah.
It's completely incorrect. Same with the gun argument, but I think that's the approach that's being taken.
If that whole effect gets put on anything, the whole human race just might as well kill themselves. Because literally anything we do, there's an extreme and not extreme of everything.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
So-
without masculinity and without men to take care of the world in a physical sense, then society's going to collapse.
There just needs to be a balance between everything.
So since we got, I would say about 3 different generations sitting here, maybe
Mhm.
2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
I'm a touch old.
Yeah.
I'm not there
Joey's
yet, but I'm
almost
a
there
touch.
too.
Yeah. We
So-
could almost say 4. You two, I say you're 18, you're
26.
26. Yeah, so we
Yeah,
got,
you're-
we got
You're
teens.
only 8 years older than me.
Yes.
So we got teens,
Good
we got
Lord.
20s, we got 30s, and we got 40s. So
Yep.
we're pretty close to.
So when you
Got
were
a couple decades in here.
So when you were 18, Joey, what was the idea of a masculine man? 30 years ago.
Toxic masculinity wasn't a thing back then. So it was slapping butts. It was
That's
you know,
kind of gay.
playing sports, drag racing.
Uh-huh.
Metallica.
Blonde chicks, big boobs, you know.
Yes, silicone was a thing.
Yep.
Silicone.
Yeah, it was.
We've taken silicone to a whole new level as we talked about last week. Now
true.
we're just making AI robots
Yeah.
made out of silicone.
It was just 2 parts made of silicone
Now
as
we're
opposed
just-
to the whole thing.
Now we've just got a robot that's all silicone.
I forgot where I was going here. We got
Sorry.
distracted by some fake boobs, but
It's easy.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
yeah, it was definitely a different time.
Yeah.
I guess pornography was kind of making its heyday. It wasn't in the internet pornography at that time, but
Well,
it was.
you would go to your buddy's treehouse and look at a
Yeah.
at a nudie
Why
mag.
are
Yeah.
those pages sticking together?
It was sticky. I
I
don't know.
left it outside.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one Theo Von clip where he's like, we used to pay a dude to draw some. I was like, what?
Yeah, dude, draw some
It was
boobs.
$4 and you'd pay $8.
Inflation.
But yeah, it's definitely different than now. One of the reasons I want to bring you on, Jackson, to talk about this. So when I was in school, all the dudes dressed nice. They had their cologne. They got the cologne for Christmas. It was you made an effort to try to impress women all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Were people more respectful, you think? Or was there still a layer of douchebaggery going on?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Douchebaggery.
But like, was it an acceptable amount, or did it push the limits?
No, I pushed the limits.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
We've got that today, though.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I think that's just every.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think
High
it's
school.
less now though. I don't hear of fights in school as much
Yeah,
as we did back in the day. Man,
fights
back in the
are-
day, it was you squared off in the middle of the hallway and just had fights like once a week.
Yeah, fights are a lot less because there's so much punishment to it. Like, even if you're in a fight, you're like just watching it and you record it, you're getting kicked out of school or suspended.
See, I have.
I wish we could
I
have
think-
recorded
I
our
think-
fights. That'd have been cool.
I think.
Sweet.
I think if you don't squash the beef, it lingers. So
does.
I think if you got
It gets
if you got
worse.
2 kids, mutual combat. Mutual
Yeah.
combat. Let them do it. Let them
them
duke it
fight.
out. Don't let
Yeah.
them stomp each other's heads.
Yeah.
But get a nice
Jump 'em from
30
behind.
second, 1 minute.
Have some hockey fights
Deal in.
going on.
Yes, hockey. I wish.
Please.
I wish
I
every
wish I was in
sport-
the NBA, bro.
I wish every
You know
sport-
how many good fights would be in the NBA?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
let them square off. Go at it. Get it out.
Well,
Yeah.
normally once you get that out, you can be friends with that guy again. It's like,
100%.
okay, all right, that's
And-
over with.
Yeah.
We know where we stand.
Yeah,
Move on.
and that's why you tell. Well, I do. I mean, I know you can't anymore because of PC crap. But like you tell a kid that's getting bullied, pop them in the face. You might
Yep.
get your butt kicked,
You might.
but you're gonna get that one shot in.
Yep.
That one shot's gonna stop it. Like
It'll change
You
it.
never hear about a bully.
I had a bully when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I think I was in 3rd grade, and this kid beat the snot out of me one time. And
Mm-hmm.
I come home, and my mom was mad.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, he ever does it again, you beat the crap out of him. You
Mhm.
do whatever you can. And I did.
Yeah.
and I got in trouble for it.
Yeah. Did it happen
I
again?
had to. Nope, never happened again.
Mm-mm.
Now I had a goose egg on my head. I mean, on picture day.
Picture day.
This is
But-
because Billy kicked me in the head.
But
A little unicorn.
the
horn
problem with that is he didn't get in trouble for it. For the other,
What?
I was not the tattletale of
Yeah.
the bunch. I just
No.
moved on and went home, and my
Snitches get
mom
stitches,
was. That's
bro.
daggum right. I don't play that. Anyway,
Gangster.
because of the family he came from, he did not get in trouble. Well, he grew up in a troubled house and all of that. Well,
That don't
I
give you
did
the
get in
right
trouble.
to
Yeah.
do
I
that.
did get in trouble, and
You should have known better.
yeah,
I'm gonna take him to
I
the house
didn't.
of pain.
I didn't go to that school after that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But I
was,
mean, that's it. That's kind of it. How you self-regulate the toxic masculinity of the time is
you just handled it.
you just had to handle it.
You
So-
did, and I would say that my confidence level after that was significantly higher because it was like, okay, I don't have to put up with that.
Yeah. So
And
Jackson,
I grew. I understood some form of masculinity in that. I
Yeah.
would say.
So Jackson, as you were growing up, I seriously thought bullying was going to be an issue with you in
because
particular.
I was awkward.
You were a little awkward, but just because of what I went through, just about everybody went through some sort of bullying, no matter what. But you didn't seem it, unless I didn't see it. I never seen that with you.
I was in high school and elementary school and all kinds of schools. I was kind of friends with just like everyone. I generally just tried to not piss people off. But if I did have a problem with someone, I just wouldn't say anything about it, or I would just pretty much just stop communicating with that person in general. But whenever it did boil over and we did have fights, like I think I had like maybe 2 in my entire whole school career.
Right.
And it didn't even last long. It was just like, what are you doing? And then it ended like 10 seconds later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're friends the next couple of days.
Yeah. It's,
Not friends, but yeah.
yeah.
Like,
it was
you
like-
were able to
you know-
stand
you
each
know
other.
them,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of that. I was bullied, but I did not take care of it.
Really.
I had no confidence.
Yeah.
I was this pudgy little boy.
Mhm.
But like now, the mentality changes of like, even if it's a situation I'm not even in directly and I can hear it and see it, I have to like put myself in that situation.
Yeah.
Like you can't, like if you see a let's just say for example, a lady being harassed,
Mhm.
like I can't turn away from that.
No.
Like I have the masculine urge to interject
Yeah.
and and engage that toxic masculinity, for a just violence.
I don't like that you used toxic masculinity in your description.
Yeah.
Of that. And the reason
I would say I
why
only said
is
it because of the
context
yeah,
of the conversation.
yeah,
But that is just masculinity.
right.
I don't think that toxic and masculinity
Right.
are the same thing.
I think in today media is trying to push that is toxic. Women don't need saving. Some don't. Like Ronda Rousey, she could beat anyone's butts, and I will
Maybe.
put money on
Not
it.
really. That's not 100% accurate. I mean, men, lower level dudes could
Yeah.
probably handle that because of how we're built.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I could go beat up Ronda Rousey. I'm not that
She
guy.
would smoke
She
you.
would
Yeah.
tear me up. But athletic men in general would be
More difficult for her.
than if she was facing
Like if you
the
brought
top level other MMA woman.
if you brought like a college hockey player against her,
Yeah.
there might be some trouble there.
Yeah.
But
Well,
like-
what is it that, and I don't want to get into this too much because this is where we get everybody mad.
Yeah.
But Serena Williams was talking about playing tennis against, a man.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I couldn't beat the 700th best tennis man.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
She's like, it is a completely different game.
did
We
you
are
see
built
where she-
differently on purpose
Yeah.
Yeah.
to serve in different roles.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes them mad. The feminist,
The feminist. Yeah.
it really upsets them. That
I don't think
there
we're
is a
not equal
difference.
because we're not equal.
We are equal,
I'm
but
not,
in
not
different
equal,
ways.
Yeah,
Well, I would say that their role is just as important as our role
I would
is.
say not equal in the
like
In the physical, no.
yeah.
in
We're
certain
not equal.
abilities.
But we were made that way on purpose.
Right.
Mhm.
To be a family
Because
unit, to take
if
care
we
of.
were equal, like why would there be two? Like
Exactly.
man and woman.
Yeah.
Why does one asexual being that
What is it?
births eggs?
That sounds awful.
Like a platypus.
It's just a little platypus.
It's a little egg butt.
But could you imagine seeing a pregnant man is like, look at that.
You can on your emoji thing.
Yeah.
Is that for real?
Weird.
It's Bill Gates.
Gross.
It looks like Bill Gates.
Man, I was going
Weird
somewhere
people.
really good with that, and I've
Sorry.
lost it. We've talked about dudes giving birth out of their butts.
Hey, that's what they're going for. They're trying.
What was I even saying before that?
Where he's getting into an area that's going to get us in trouble, talking about chicks not being able to do things physically.
Oh, I was going biblical. That's where I was
there we
going.
go. I was going to ask if anybody had any verses
Adam.
to go with this.
When Adam was created, it said, it is not good for man to be alone.
Yeah.
So we didn't make, God made a companion for us, and he built that family unit off of that, of this is what the man, this is what the woman, and we have different roles that come from that.
And their curses when they
Yes.
fell, when they committed their sin, their roles was completely different. The
were.
women were going to suffer in childbirth, and the men were going to suffer in the fields,
Yeah.
toiling in the earth.
I can see right now blue-haired feminists, there is smoke coming out of their ears right now from just even saying that.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to be separate. We're supposed to be separately together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
My whole
Two
thing,
minds, one body.
That's right.
My whole
Exactly.
thing is people are trying to be too victimized today.
Yes.
Like everyone suffers with something.
Mhm.
It's not going to be equal between each person, but everyone's going to go through something at some point. They're going to go through
It's
a
life.
loss of a family member, or something crappy happens at work, you lose your job, something like that.
Yep.
Someone's going to suffer through something. No one's better than the other. Just
It's the way you channel
yeah,
that.
it's just the
Can
way
either
you
turn-
use it and
Yeah.
way it affects you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've saw this one thing where if you read comics, villains and superheroes both go through something traumatic. It
Yep.
just depends on how they use that.
So I heard, I was listening to a podcast. I should get a Pulitzer Prize for listening to this
Don't
podcast.
do
I'm
we
not
have to
plugging
plug it?
I'm not going to plug it.
Just
I'm
to
gonna
give it
say-
as generic. What?
Generic. In the show title was the word angry and feminist was in that title. There's other words in there, so it doesn't give away the show. But those two words
I
were
mean,
in
we
there.
can.
That
If
gets
we're,
you
go-
where
if
I'm
we're
going.
if we're gonna talk about them, let's tell people what it is. We should.
I don't want to. But
Just don't say words verbatim.
But they were
Yeah.
talking about toxic masculinity, and they brought that point up too. But they were saying that what makes it toxic is that those situations always resulted in some sort of violence, even with the good guy. Like even the good guy, whenever something bad would happen to him, he resorted in violence. There's always fights and stuff like that.
So I wonder if that's the point here, is that like the feminist movement never wants violence.
They wanna take
when,
that out.
When violence, you almost, in a lot of situations, when it comes to a head, violence may be the only answer to destroy evil.
And I
But what level? And I'm just thinking this out loud right now. What is an area that they can't compete in with a man?
Fist fight, man.
Is in violence. So
His
if
hands are
you wanted
bisexual.
to,
yeah.
you daggum right. I got he and they right here. But I mean, that is an area that competition isn't there for them at all. So to me, that would be the spot that you would want to eradicate the most. Is like, I mean, to me, you have that aggression as a protector to be able to wake that up.
Mm-hmm.
If I am to protect my family, then that aggression needs to live there somewhere.
Yeah.
It needs to be controlled.
There will always be violent, bad people that will try to attack you at one point or another in your life.
Yeah, I mean,
You
the
need to
risk is
just-
there.
Have you ever heard the quote, it's better to be a warrior in a garden
Yep.
than a gardener in a war?
Oh, yeah.
I always like that quote because it's
Better to be
what you need to be.
better be
Yeah.
a warrior in Walmart than a. Never mind. You know what's going with that?
Sometimes you start a
Yeah.
sentence. you don't know
Sometimes
where-
I start sentences and I don't know where they're going to
The first part sounded really good.
Let's take a quick break, and then I want to dig into let's say I've got a definition of AI. I mean, of
AI?
an AI definition of what toxic masculinity is,
Gotcha.
and then some of the effects. It's AI is surprisingly feminist. I was a little shocked by what I read.
I had to
here.
work it out of it. I
Well,
had to
duh,
keep asking and like, give me a masculine answer to this.
Really?
I had to
AI
keep
doesn't
it
have
pushing.
testicles, duh.
It doesn't.
It's true.
No testosterone. All it eats is Kellogg's.
It don't want us fighting because it knows we can unplug that stupid thing. Speaking of
No, you
AI,
can't.
you can AI search shroudedrealities.com and find your source for all things shrouded realities.
But I can just give you what the definition would be if you looked it up. It would say the best podcast ever.
Solid.
It's what it would say almost
Solid.
immediately. AI knows,
Mhm.
and it's really picking it up.
EVPE.
I
Yeah.
wish everybody else knew.
But it will. I mean, with this episode, once we piss half of the our listeners off, the other half is going to be really committed.
Yeah.
I think
So do we need to apologize to the moms? Because moms do dig shrouded realities.
moms do dig shrouded realities, and that's true. And we're going to have to make a sticker that says that.
Yeah. I don't think the moms is who we have to worry about with this.
No, because they're probably more on the traditional side of this conversation anyway.
Yeah.
It's the blue-haired ladies, which
The non-moms.
in the non-binary section of my analytics, we have 0%.
Really?
So we're actually
Dang.
probably doing okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, we're not reaching that pop. That population is not coming for us. Not yet. This episode could change that though.
Need
cool.
to get a viral moment.
This may be it. I feel
This
like
could be
I
it.
feel like we're saying all kinds of
Yeah,
things.
we're looking at masculinity and we're just poking it,
Yeah.
just right
We're
in
gonna be a
front.
clip on the Whatever podcast.
Yeah, they might be all about us on the Whatever podcast.
Look at this
'cause-
podcast.
That's
Look at
right.
these big, they're violent.
Look at these violent men
Yes, violent men wearing their Shrouded Realities t-shirts that you get at shroudedrealities.com.
on sale right
On
now.
sale. We're limited supply. We're almost out. So
We are. You better jump on it because this is it.
Yep.
This is our last. We're not coming back
Yeah.
with that shirt
Do you,
ever.
do you even have one yet?
No, you
What are
don't
you
give me
doing?
anything.
I didn't
give
give
me
you
a-
that.
We don't
give
give
me.
it-
They gave you
I
life.
asked you if
I
you
get-
give me a shirt, and you said, "Yeah, you can buy it online." I was like, "Okay, thank
You
you."
got a job.
Yeah,
bud.
I gave you a truck to drive to work to have the money to buy the shirt. What else do you want?
That-
from me?
Wait, rhymed
we
really
need we
well.
need to come back to that conversation after this break.
What's that?
What you just said.
The truck.
The truck that I gave you.
Uh,
Ba-da-da. That was some like real
Ba-da-da-da.
get some rhyme there.
Yeah, that's right. Because I think that's what the masculine should do. But anyway, we have a Patreon too.
Yeah.
we do have a Patreon.
Patreon.
Patreon. So
Spelled weird.
we're fixing to release a 2-part episode.
We are.
If you don't have Patreon, you're going to have to wait a full week before you can get part 2.
This day and age, the full week, that's pretty big.
Yeah,
It is big.
dude. Back in the day, you used to watch TV.
You have to wait a week for the next
Dude,
episode.
they'd cliffhang you at the end of a season, and you have to wait 6 months for the next
Dude,
episode.
that was the worst.
Sucked.
But
you
now,
know what?
looking back at it, it was great.
Now you
Oh,
can pay
no.
$2 and you can get all of it at once
It's true. With Patreon,
with Patreon.
you get the whole full 2 cuts back to back.
Yeah.
You can watch the full hour and a half episode
Mm-hmm.
with all its glory,
All of the glory in
all of the glory.
it. Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have Patreon, you're just going to have to wait like a chump.
Yeah.
No,
Don't
Speaking
be-
of
no offense.
toxic,
You're not going to be a chump. Don't be a chump.
Don't
I
be a
know the people that listen to us are not chumps
I didn't
because
say
they're
I said like a chump.
yeah, exactly, like a chump.
Like
but
a
what
chump.
I'm doing is I'm making it. They don't want to be chumps, so they really want to jump into that Patreon.
Our listeners are smart enough to jump into the
There you
Patreon
go.
and
Now
say,
you're picking up
$2
what I'm laying
That's
down.
all it is.
$2.
Yeah.
Hook you boys up.
What did you said?
Speaks-
Arizona teas.
yeah,
That's
Two
of them. And speaking of toxic, what's that sticky stuff?
It's sticky, isn't it?
It is sticky.
Is it a
Some of that toxic sticky.
The
That
toxic
sounds-
stick.
I feel like
We
we're
hadn't
going
had a
somewhere else.
Yeah, we hadn't had a good sticker plug in a
I
while.
hadn't. Yeah, I really haven't just let my brain go there too much.
And we've got more
but
stickers though.
We have more stickers.
3 of them. 3 designs.
3 whole stickers.
$5 gets you 5 stickers of.
So get some dupes in there. Get some because you want to give some to your buddies.
You messed me up with dupes. What's a dupe?
It's duplicate.
Duplicate.
Good
Boomer.
grief, dupes.
Boomer alert.
Get some
Love how old
duplicates.
you are
Give some
sometimes.
to your buddies. Tell them where to go find it.
Yes.
It's the way to be. We need to get these stickers out to everybody.
Yes.
That needs to be our mantra. Get
Hey,
the
Ruby
stickers
makes
to
an
everyone.
appearance.
I do want to, I do want to point out, we're not all toxic masculinity in here. We've got a female in the room right now.
We do.
We do. No Ruby,
Oh,
She
Ruby.
has made an appearance in this episode.
and she is on a sticker.
She is on a
She
sticker.
is on a sticker.
So we're not that toxic after all. We're for
We're
all.
inclusive.
We're for all the genders.
We're all married.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
What
pigeons.
if I called her by the actual female dog name? Then everybody would flip immediately.
Yeah.
I do want to
We
go.
got to in this room.
I do want to go there. No, eventually, I do
The
want.
B word?
I want to do an episode on cuss words.
Yeah, I would like to have a cuss
We thought
word.
that like what makes a word a cuss.
Mhm.
Like
I feel
Ruby
like I've
is.
given you this idea before.
You have, and we'll
Yeah.
we'll talk about it.
It's because you were trying to find a way to let your dad.
Yeah, yeah.
let you
I want
guys-
to cuss, but I can't around my dad.
Dad, it's just noises. It doesn't mean anything.
It's just flipping dumb, dadgummit.
Dadgummit.
Toxic masculinity.
What is your definition of toxic masculinity? We
Toxic-
kind of went over masculinity, but what's toxic masculinity?
Toxic. I'm gonna give you the AI definition, not
it to
my
me.
own. I'm not smart enough to make up definitions. AI says toxic masculinity is a harmful set of behaviors and attitudes that are based on traditional male roles. It can be harmful to mental health of all genders, which I completely disagree with.
What's it say traditional?
Traditional
'Cause
male
that's
roles.
bad. Tradition is bad. It's patriarchal.
Yeah.
It is
Golly.
patriarchal. Like I said, I was a little shocked by she's I'm gonna call her
She.
she because
It.
I could
You
not
know what
disagree.
a toxic man would
There
say
are guy
that.
feminists.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
it could,
the worst.
It could be a guy.
That's the
Yeah.
worst thing I've ever heard
Yeah.
of. I hate that so much.
Yeah.
That's as toxic as it gets because you think they ain't trying. They're trying something.
Yeah,
If
they're
you're
up to
if you're
it.
a male feminist, you're trying to do something. That's
And
all
then when you
you're
don't
trying
get
to
it,
do.
you get violent.
It's
Yeah.
like a guy pretending to be gay and going to girl
It's
sleepovers.
similar. Oh no! That's a smart move back in the day, man.
Genius. Yeah, I always said I was gonna make you be a tranny so you can get a cool scholarship. And be like the fastest kid in school,
Turns out you have to put them on hormone blockers
fastest
for
girl
the,
in school.
Yeah. Be the fastest girl in school. Call you Jackie.
Some effects of toxic masculinity are anxiety, depression, increased risk of suicide, increased loneliness, increased risky behavior, and increased substance and alcohol abuse.
Half of that sounds
behavior.
fun.
Steven's eyes twitching over here.
Half of that's just an experience.
What is
I'm
risky
about to-
behavior?
Risky behavior.
That means fooling around.
uh,
That means
I hate that so much. That's so
I feel like
anxiety and depression.
that's
which is
basically everything.
which is kicked through the roof since we've started.
I was fixing to say. I feel
Doing
like that's
this to
the
men.
opposite. This is the opposite of the cause.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, you're going to be less anxious and less depressed if you go against your ancestral DNA
Yeah.
to take care of things.
Yeah, you're going to be more depressed if
Yeah.
you're like, you know what?
If only I washed more dishes, I wouldn't be anxious.
Wow, you're going to get.
I
you're
didn't
gonna
mean
get-
it. I didn't mean it like that.
You're going to get hate for that comment.
Yeah.
I am
I'm
not a part of
dancing.
this
so
conversation.
sad.
Jesus, please
Fixing
don't-
my
is-
car makes
It is
me
really
sad.
it is really messed up that we even are having that thought of like we're gonna piss so many people off by saying that.
Yeah, but
What do you think only a woman can wash dishes?
how many times have you fixed a car, fixed a washing machine, fixed a dryer, and
Yeah.
felt bad about it?
Right.
Dude,
No.
you come out like Superman.
It's
Just,
like
I just fixed the dryer.
You come out here, you take your woman, let's go.
Let's go.
So my idea of a good time sitting at home is listening to whatever's on my playlist and fixing my truck.
yeah.
well,
No-
that sounds great, but I mean, you walk out, you're like, no big deal or
No
nothing.
big deal.
Don't make a big deal
Just
out of
another
it.
day.
I just
How do you
fixed
feel
it.
when Mama tells you to go do the dishes? Do you come out like manly, or do you come out like just? "Buh."
Just pissed I got to do chores.
Yeah, it's my sister's turn. Why am I doing it?
Yeah,
She's a woman.
Yeah. 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 So I'd say it's the opposite. Causes of social attitude, advertising, pop culture, and social media.
I agree with that.
They're saying
That's the biggest part.
Yeah, they're
that's
saying
that's what
they're saying that.
attributes to toxic masculinity.
Yeah. So it's like they're saying the opposite of what you're saying.
So are they saying like,
Like-
oh, Andrew Tate's making you depressed because he's that guy that everybody's freaked out about? He's toxic. This
He's
toxic.
a cult guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Did we talk about him?
Yeah.
He's not a cult.
Yeah.
He,
Yeah.
he
Look into him.
did start like a little
Look into him. He's got a cult.
crypto thing or like school
Yeah,
thing.
if you're-
and
if you're,
it was like
um,
you got to pay this much to learn how to do crypto. And it's,
Yeah, if
I
you're
don't
if
trust
you're
It's a
a
pyramid scheme.
alpha
It is.
male influencer, that's a red flag immediately.
Yeah.
I don't care
Yeah.
who you are. I don't care what your message is.
Mm-hmm.
there's this
absolutely.
there's
I'm
this
out on
thing
that.
I
Yeah.
saw one time. It was like there's a trinity of masculinity or whatever. It was Andrew Tate get you out of the matrix, which is stupid. Jordan Peterson will let you grow into masculinity, and then who is the other one? I told you.
Theo Vaughn makes you
No.
hilarious.
Theo Vaughn
Who's the
adds
other
your
one?
humor,
I'm blanking.
your funny bone.
Well,
I don't know.
I can't think of the
So
other dude.
Andrew Tate, let me back up. I don't like the dude. I
Yeah,
think
no.
that he's. I don't know if he's in a cult or not, but
Here-
I'm not a fan of the guy. Jordan Peterson, I actually do appreciate.
Love Jordan Peterson.
I think Jordan Peterson is actually like saying, "Hey, be disciplined as a human, and things will go
solid guy.
better." I don't have a problem with Jordan Peterson at all. But matter of fact, on the way over here, I was listening to him talking about toxic masculinity, and
Well, you say that toxic. I can't even do his voice. I'm gonna do his
he
voice.
sounds. So we make jokes that Joey
Sounds
sounds
like
like
a
Kermit the
Canadian-
Frog.
Yeah.
He actually sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Well, you see.
He sounds like a Canadian Herbert.
Yeah.
Now, say guys like him and Joe Rogan make me feel better about having the voice for a podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're the most successful in the world, and their voices are garbage. Like they don't
Joe
have.
Rogan's isn't that bad,
It's
but
pretty abrasive.
you think so?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people that say they can't watch UFC because of his voice.
I like listening to him.
I like Rogan.
I do too.
I
Maybe
do.
maybe it's
Well,
because
it
of
would probably be more of a thing if Robert F. Kennedy had a podcast.
Yeah,
That'd
and,
be
it is.
and he does, and it's bad.
It
It's
does.
bad.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Man. I want to like it so bad,
I've
but
been
it's
smoking for 40 years.
He's got a neurological condition, Jackson.
Got parasites.
Jeez.
Oh,
gum. Making fun of
Yeah, he
people with
really does.
handicaps. How toxic can
Jackson
you be,
thought it's because he
Jackson?
was smoking.
Let's bring
Yeah.
back
It
jokes.
sounds like he smokes.
He does.
He
Bring
does?
back
He
jokes.
does.
All right.
He does. So a term that I learned just 2 minutes ago, but while I was prepping for this, was the waves of feminism.
Yeah,
I
that's a thing.
didn't know that was a thing. I knew
This is going to be a bleed over, right? We're going to bleed into a feminist
you kind of have to.
conversation.
You kind of
Yeah.
have to.
It's a whole side by side, or one side against the other side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the feminism movement is what pushes the quote unquote
Well,
toxic masculinity.
Before we start, your definition of toxic masculinity, if you think it's real or if you think there's a better term than that for what they're calling toxic
I
masculinity.
do think toxic masculinity is real.
Okay.
I think there's a level that you can go too far, like we touched on in the beginning.
I don't.
You don't think that
Yeah, I'll let
it's
you explain your reason,
Okay.
and I'll explain mine.
All right. Well, now since you tossed
I'm gonna-
softballed me here, toxic masculinity is like beating your wife, beating your kids, thinking that you're the ruler of the roost, and wah wah wee wah.
Yeah.
Taking women.
Yeah,
You have to be a
a
man if you like
yeah
play baseball. or
full
something
blown
like that.
bully
Yeah.
that just had never got his nose popped.
Sure.
That to me that is real toxic masculinity.
Okay.
The toxic masculinity and the way that it's being pushed, I don't think is real. I think
The way it's pushed, no. It's
I
not.
think young boys need to be taught how to fight, taught how to wrestle,
Yeah.
taught how to work with their hands.
So the definition you gave, I would put a different word than toxic masculinity. That's just a douchebag.
It's
I
not
guess.
I was gonna say, I
masculine.
think
What
it's
you're
just
saying is not
toxic
masculine.
people.
It's not masculine at all.
It's just toxic
That,
people.
that is
Yeah.
to me is not masculine.
Because there's
Yeah.
there's toxic,
toxic.
feminists too, and then just in general just toxic people.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that there is toxic people, regardless. I think that it gets attributed to men a little more,
yeah,
and that's why we're giving kids in
It's because
school-
we're the more aggressive.
Yeah,
gender.
we are the more of the aggressor in that.
Mhm.
But toxic and masculinity they can't go together, because if you're truly masculine, you're not toxic.
Mhm.
okay.
Truly masculine men are not toxic.
Yeah. A real masculine man is caring.
Yes,
He's caring for his family.
he's caring.
Maybe not.
Maybe not emotionally, like, oh, come here, you skinned your knee. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
My dad was like, go rub some dirt on it, get over
Yeah,
it. You know,
yeah. You got-
which,
you're gonna have a
but
cool-
that made me grow into a man. That made me, and my mom might come and be like, I'm sorry, you
Yeah.
hurt your knee. And she would give me more of that emotional care. But my dad, that's not what he was there for.
Okay.
He helped develop me into a man, and
Yeah.
that is get over it.
And kind of to support your idea that there is no such thing as toxic masculinity whatsoever. So you're kind of changing my mind a little bit. Even the bullies of the world, the douchebags, the people that just take it way too far,
Right.
that usually probably did come from a bad situation, but even those people are useful. I'm thankful for being bullied in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
It made me a better man than now. Than like when I got old enough and big enough, I took MMA and jiu-jitsu because I'm like, no, I'm not
I'm
going
not
to be
going to let that.
physically.
I'm not going to allow that again.
Yeah, I'm going to learn skills that I need to learn to defend myself and my family and my
Right.
children against somebody like that.
It's like being a psycho. You don't want a psycho in like a standpoint of like the government, but whenever it comes into like war, you want a psycho out there because he's gonna kill people without having any problems like that.
Yep. So that trauma that I experienced as a child of getting beat up from bullies and the lessons that I learned from how to handle a bully made me a little bit of a psycho to where I've got that little twitch in the back of my head that I'm not going to get beat up
Well-
like the kid in middle school did against me. And if I even catch a whiff of it, I'm coming out swinging.
Jordan Peterson said, you need to find your inner monster
Yeah.
and learn how to control it.
Okay.
And I think that truly is what a masculine man is he knows that he's got the capability to be that way, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
Unless he has to.
Yeah.
He doesn't become that person unless he has to be that person.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your role is to be a protector. Your role is to care for your family in monetary value and whatever way you can.
Yeah.
Be that support to make sure your family's moving. I think that in discipline, they're 100% the leaders in that. That's kind of where I'm at. You can't be toxic and be masculine at the same time. You can be a toxic man, but that doesn't mean you're toxically masculine.
And you just be a toxic person.
Yeah. There's toxic feminists, there's toxic men, there's toxic people.
So to put
to your point.
So to put the two words together, toxic masculinity is just false. It's just
you
completely,
can't.
it's a
You
farce.
can't be. Yeah. Toxic masculinity can't exist.
And I think the whole social media just pushed that idea way too much.
It did.
Yeah,
got
because
stupid.
in your world, like I'm sure the masculinity has changed to like you have to be like this jacked bodybuilder and you got to have Lamborghinis and $1 billion and 9 wives and 47 kids. Like that's
Talk about the
that's the
Mormons?
new masculine, but that's just toxic.
Yeah.
That's all
Because
that
what
is
do you have to
toxic.
do to get to that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As I say, today is just like have money, sleep with a bunch of people. I'm like, I don't really want any of that. I just want to.
Because to reach those levels, like there's
I
a
wanna
level
make
of
money.
toxic you have to
Yeah.
commit to get to that level of masculine.
Yeah. As I say, I
Sure,
mean,
you
I
wanna
want
make
money. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wants money. I don't care.
Right,
if
but the
you're-
levels that they're saying, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, it's like you can't do
not
that
real.
Well, and
without being toxic in
to
some way.
me,
Yeah.
I have watched the Whatever podcast a little bit. Those guys are maybe a touch much,
Yeah.
but
A little bit on the
cracks me up.
entertainment side.
it is funny. If it pops up, I'm probably gonna watch the clip.
Yeah.
But they were talking. They wanted women to describe what their perfect man was, basically.
Yeah.
It's the top
And-
1%.
Yeah, every time it's there's
6
like
foot male.
18 guys that live this way, and they think that they're going to be the one that sweeps
Yeah.
them off their feet or
Yeah.
something.
Get,
But it's like you've got to be 6'5", you've got to have at least hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, a nice car. I still want to be able to work though, and I'll bring him up and I'll grow him and it's like, guys,
You
that's
know
not
what-
how
missed
that
the
works.
point.
I heard
Yeah.
this one
You're
idea.
38
The
years
reason-
old.
You're 38.
I heard this
Figure
one
it out.
idea. The whole reason why most women think, or not most women, but women like that think like that is because they have the I can fix him mentality.
That's true.
Like, there is a whole fan base of serial killers who, like, women are in love with the serial killers and, like,
To try
I
to
can
fix
just
them.
fix him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a certain level of,
So have these new generation of ladies been groomed to go towards that? Like you were
I
saying
don't- I-
earlier, Joey. Like, has there been a new
I think
mentality
the never,
change?
the never settle
Yeah,
is a
Yeah.
problem. Like, and that sounds bad, and I get that doesn't sound good, but you shouldn't settle. You should get what you want all the time. That's not the way marriage has been traditionally throughout history.
No.
History, it's been, hey, you're
that's
set up
called-
to marry this dude, and that's it.
yeah. That's
Like,
called
go look in
settling,
Genesis.
settling down.
Yeah, go look in Genesis. Like, it was, hey, go to this place. You're going to marry this person.
Because
and-
I sold your marriage rights for a pig.
Yeah, exactly. And that's legitimate. That's how it worked. But it
You're
is.
worth a pig to me, daughter.
But
Thanks, Dad.
It wasn't
like
to
in
like
holes.
I'm gonna feel butterflies my entire marriage and I'm gonna be the happiest person. That's not how marriage works
No.
at all. We're getting off toxic masculinity a
Yeah.
little bit. We're veering.
Yeah,
I think that this new wave of toxicness is like it's like a never ending loop almost. Like the ladies look for it, the men have to be like that, so it's like a never ending
yeah. And
cycle.
To be honest with you, though, I don't think, and you brought this up, and you've brought this up to me. I don't think that's real. I think the push, the chicks that are interviewed on the whatever podcast,
Yeah.
is a
those are
very
the
small.
skewed,
They're a very
I
small
was say
microcosm.
in my high
Are
school,
they?
m-
And I'll
yeah.
come back to that.
In my high school, more girls in my grade in my high school aren't like that. But
They haven't went to college yet.
idea of that is somewhat in there.
So
Also.
what was the movement that you told me about? Traditional
Yeah.
wives.
Trad wives.
Yeah, I think that's a more of a bigger microcosm than you think.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I believe that that's the majority of women because at their soul, at their being, at their DNA level, they look for a masculine man
Yeah, I
to
agree.
take for a husband.
To take care of them and
Because they
Yeah.
may not realize it, but they know that.
and when I say take care of them, I think that they're taking care of each other.
Yeah,
I don't think that it is just the man. I'm going to come from that perspective.
right.
But my argument to that would be is why are men in droves right now going to other countries to find women?
Oh yeah.
Because that's a big deal right now.
What is that called? I forgot.
Passport bro or something like that.
They're going to
Yeah.
other countries like Thailand
Passport,
and
bro.
Asian, especially Asian countries, and they are
Because they
weirds
typically
me out about-
countryside
Because
have
they
the,
have-
the traditional values of
they
like
have the traditional values that we aren't seeing here. So I think that maybe it's a 50-50 split that, all the good women are gone at this point because they've been swept up by another dude.
It kind of weirds
But-
me out about Thailand because
Yeah, you gotta be scared.
known
You gotta
for
be-
the-
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be skeptical.
Dude, they're pretty good. You see them, you're like,
They're good
ooh,
at
that's
it.
hard.
Yeah,
That's a hard
until
one.
they
And
tell
then-
you like
until they talk like, hello.
No,
See, Adam-
I've
Adam's
heard
apple
some that
go
are
blah, blah,
talking
blah.
and it's even confusing. You're like, ooh, I don't know. And then they'll ask them and they'll go, are you,
At least
a
they're
lady
honest.
boy? And they'll be like, yeah, I used to be Steve. And it's like, oh, they'll change their
Yeah.
voice. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I used to be Steve.
I used to be a construction worker.
I had my Adam's apple shaved.
You can do that.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Ugh. So that's not even a key indicator anymore.
No, just because they're
you
Adam's
can
apple
get
ain't there.
anything changed. You can
Yeah.
get like 6 inches added to your height.
If they can turn
I thought you were gonna
this
say
into
something else
that,
there.
if they can turn this into something else, they can do anything.
Yeah.
An Audi into
Invert
an Indy.
Yeah.
Inversion.
If you've never watched
Flay.
the animated video of how that happens, it's the worst. It's the
So,
worst thing.
so to bring us back on topic,
Sorry.
so what you're saying is that you think the American feminist movement is winning.
I think they've
If-
already won a little bit.
You think?
About 100 years ago.
Hmm At least.
I think there was a
50.
certain point where it was right-ish, but it got to a point where it got too far.
I
Like,
think it's a
You talking about that
lopsided.
slippery slope? You talking about that right there?
So you're talking about
Can't say
so,
that.
so
like,
I'm talking
like
about
early,
this.
or like 1800s and all that.
first wave of
Yeah,
femininity.
first wave. That
There you
was
go.
I just learned that.
First wave.
that was the idea of women's suffrage. Women can vote. Women can go work in the workforce if they want
Better
to.
be careful here, buddy.
Yep.
You're in.
You're
a-
treading
you're on-
water.
I'm
You're
all
on-
fine with that.
Your principal's gonna call you
You're
in the
walking on
office.
you're walking on a slippery pond right now.
That's
That's all I'm
right.
saying.
My thing is, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But in
Yeah.
their traditional family roles, I don't think it needs to be like that.
So, but in the 18th, 19th century, the first wave of feminism was really that was it. Was just property rights and the right to vote.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that you think that was okay, but
Wait-
wave number 2, where they get to talking about workplace equality and social justice, you think that was starting to toe the line of being a little.
Because like women in like the 1800s,
Be careful, buddy.
Be careful.
I'm
Women-
sitting over here with on my tippy toes, like
gonna-
I'm ready
we've
to
got-
jump.
Got the beat button.
Yeah, I'm getting
women
ready
in the
to jump.
1800s, it was shameful to divorce people or to divorce your husbands.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it needed to happen because of like abusive husbands and like that.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be shameful to divorce someone if you needed to. Like
Okay.
if you fell out of love, if they were being emotionally abusive, physically abusive, manipulative, I think that's all right. I think you should be able to support yourself on your own until you find another partner. I think that was where it was all right. But whenever it got into today's movement where it was you don't need to be masculine, it got a little bit too far.
Okay.
Eradicating
Yeah.
masculinity is a problem.
So there is a level of feminism that is good.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know,
Like I don't think it needs to be like shameful to be able to have your own, like be an individual person. That was the
So,
whole American idea of
My
individuality.
problem with that time frame in feminism is they got all the
Which time
benefit, the first wave,
okay.
and I've got to be careful. But they got all the benefit with none of the drawback. So used to be, if you own land and you voted,
Mm-hmm.
you're eligible for a draft.
Mhm.
Period.
So you're about to get yourself in trouble.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're gonna get
I
all
see
the
where you're
benefit,
going with
if
this.
you're gonna get all of the benefit of being a man in the masculine side of that society, we've got to pay both sides.
Mhm.
We got to pay to have the benefit.
Yeah.
We have the other side of, well, you've also got to go fight and die.
Yeah, that's always been my biggest problem with the current feminism movement is saying that all women can do anything that a man can do,
Yeah.
which is not true.
But we've had to lower
they-
standards to be able to allow that
Yeah.
side to do that.
and they talk about wage equality and stuff like that, but they're talking about white collar CEO jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we should have equal representation with white collar CEO jobs, but you also, if you're going to say that, you also need to have 50-50 ditch diggers and garbage men
Yeah.
and garbage men and women.
Yeah.
How many?
And that's where
Well, I know a
comes in.
woman who digs ditches, and that's always everybody's argument. But
Yeah,
you're
she's built like a fridge, obviously.
But that's everybody's argument is, well, I know a woman and she throws trash into the garbage truck. It's like, okay,
Yeah, that one.
you know one.
That one. Yeah.
How many do you know that are like, I mean, give me a quantifiable number other than your anecdotal evidence here of like, I know one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We work in the automotive repair industry, and I've known one female automotive mechanic.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even that good.
Yeah, I know. And that sounds bad. And it does.
not coming
I've known so many stinking mechanics and technicians, and I've only known one.
Yeah.
And nobody is trying. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
not, there's no commercial with women's empowerment
That's
showing a chick trying to get
Covered
in,
in grease, trying to take some
Yeah.
brakes off an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, because it's not real. That's not
It's
what
not.
the feminism movement is about.
It's not what they're pushing for.
They're, like you said, they're trying to get all the glory, all the good stuff without the sacrifice.
Yeah. Well,
know?
we want equal representation in this office job that makes $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Let me see you pushing.
Yeah. I want to see you in a trade. I want you to be a plumber.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You can go be a plumber and make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. How about that?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see, that idea also dances across the idea of socialism. Because if you find out that you can't have equal representation anywhere,
Yep.
there should be no representation at all.
Oh.
Mhm.
So,
That's where the
Oh.
DEI stuff was
Yeah.
going too. I mean, all of that lived in that same thing of like, well, we're stronger with our diversity. No.
Yeah.
3 planes later.
Yeah.
All the-
Diversity is not necessarily what makes you stronger. Ability does.
Yeah.
Diversity of ability might,
Mm-hmm.
but not a meritless diversity. That
Yeah.
doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
We just covered everything in this episode.
There's still more to touch.
Yeah.
I can't wait
Do you
to have the
think- do
wage
you
gap
think,
conversation in the next one.
Do you
Yeah.
think that the ladies switching over to being a man? Do you think they can be toxic masculine?
Yes, there you go. That is as toxic as it gets.
I was gonna say,
There, those two words right there, toxic and masculinity. Boom.
Shouldn't happen in that way. Oh, if you stuck with us this long, thanks for listening.
We just talk gibberish.
You either
the whole
love
time.
us or you hate our guts.
And if your eyes are twitching and steam's coming out of your ears, go to our social media and tell us how dumb we are.
Yes.
Yeah, I want people to jump into
I
the
do wanna have
comments
this
on this. I
conversation.
want people to jump in, give us your side of it. 'Cause
share
it is a
this,
lot.
even if you hate us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
share it.
maybe next time we bring this up, we do bring a lady in, a woman.
Yeah.
Shoo. Okay.
Gotta be careful of which one, but I mean,
Maybe the one throwing the trash in the truck.
Got a
you
dip in
know?
her lip.
yeah.
That's
Hey.
right.
Good luck finding that one, by the way.
Yeah. Few and far between there.
Yeah. Jackson, thanks for coming in, buddy.
of course,
You brought in some good thoughts.
good.
Did.
I'm glad
Yep.
I got
wanted
to put
some
in
hope for the future.
input.
There's some hope. There's some hope, I think. You're leading us that way.
That's right.
For Steven, Connor, Joey, Steve, Jackson, thanks for coming in. And Ruby, the podcast dog. Thanks for listening.